everyone, this is me, Nicky Sinha, and a very warm welcome to our YouTube channel. The topic of today's discussion is really important because, as I had told you when I was discussing the strategies with you for paper 2, I told you the very first step that you have to follow is you have to know your syllabus. That's very important because only if you know your syllabus, you will be able to form a study plan, you will be able to know the difficult areas, you will be able to complete things on time. So that's exactly what we will be doing today. We are going to be discussing the syllabus for UGC NET History. Now, if you can download the syllabus from the UGC NET website, and if you have downloaded, you will know that there are 10 units in the syllabus, and each unit has certain sub-chapters which we are going to talk about in detail. So let's start. Okay, so unit 1 is all about ancient India. So unit 1 is ancient India. Okay, always remember guys that whenever we are starting with a new time period, the first thing that we will focus on is the sources available for that particular time period. So if we are starting with ancient India, we'll be focusing on sources like archaeological sources, literary, numismatic, secular, religious literature, foreign travelogues or the accounts which have been written by foreigners. We will be focusing on all of these things. Now here, the most important thing that you must remember is the sites and names. So this is the most important thing that you must remember from Unit 1, Chapter 1, which is negotiating the sources. The next thing that we have, again, we move to the Stone Age. Here we will start from Paleolithic and move on till Chalcolithic, and we will be covering settlement pattern, tools and patterns of exchange. These 3 aspects we will be focusing on. Here the main thing that you have to remember is the sites, the location or the places at which various evidences of this particular time period has been found. Okay, next, since we have ended on the Chalcolithic age, we now move on to the Indus Valley civilization. Here we will be focusing on the origin, extent, major sites, specialization, religion, trade, society, polity, economy, and then ultimately the decline of the empire. Okay. After this, the next sub-chapter or the next time period that we have to focus on is the Vedic and the later Vedic age. Now here we will be focusing on again society, economy, polity, culture, etc. Now all of these aspects we will talk about from early Vedic perspective as well and later Vedic perspective as well. Now, since we are talking about the Vedic age, our main source is the Vedas. When you do the sources, you will realize that Vedas has a lot of sub-books as well. There are Brahmans, there are Aranyak, there are Samhitas, there are Upanishads, and there are various Upanishads which are there, isn't it? So, what is important here? You have to remember the books. You have to remember the books and the terms which have been used in these particular books. That is very important because you will get question from there. After this, we move on to the next time period, which is the foundation and expansion of the Mahajanpads, right? So we'll be focusing on the 16 important Mahajanpads, and then we will be focusing on different kinds of Mahajanpads, monarchical, republican, their social and economic development, emergence of second urbanization, right? And along with this, we will focus on 2 cultural developments, which is Jainism, Buddhism and Ajivikas. Sorry, not 2, but 3 cultural developments. Now, Then we move on to Unit 2. So after we have done the establishment of Mahajanpads, we will then focus on a particular Mahajanpad, which is Magad. Then we will see how the Greek invasion affected it, the expansion, the polity, society, economy, particularly Ashoka's Dhamma and its nature, decline, and then the disintegration. We will also focus on some cultural aspects like modern art and architecture, and most importantly, Ashokan edicts. This is very, very important. This is what our focus would be on. Now, after the dissolution of, or after the decline of the modern empire, we have the rise of various regional kingdoms, right? So we have Indo-Greek, Shunga, Satavahanas, Kushan, Shakshatrapa, etc. Then we will be focusing on the administration, society, polity, economy, cultural aspects of all of these dynasties in an individual manner, right? Then here we have trade aspect. We will be dealing with foreign trade as well. And in the cultural aspect, we will be dealing with Mahayana Buddhism, Kharvela and Jainism. And then we will also deal with modern art and architecture, Gandhar, Mathura and Amravati schools. This is the cultural aspect. Okay. Then we move on to the next big empire, which is the Guptas and the Vaktaks. So here again, we'll focus on society, economy, polity, their land grants, their coins, temple architecture, development of science, technology, astronomy, philosophy, etc. So all of this will come under cultural aspect. Society, polity and economy would be one aspect, or you can say the political aspect of the empire. All right. Then we have Harshvardhan. We'll be discussing his administration and religion. With this, we have come to the end of Unit 2, and then we move on to Unit 3. Now, Unit 3 is all about early medieval India. So, in here, we will be focusing on various regional kingdoms. So, we will be focusing on kingdoms in Deccan, kingdoms in South India, kingdoms in Western India, kingdoms in Northern India. And each of these dynasties which have been mentioned, we will be focusing on the rulers, the chronological order of the rulers, and most importantly, if they have some significant contributions that they have made. For example, the Palas are responsible for endowments of various universities. So contributions like this would be discussed in detail, ruler-wise. Okay. Now, then we will discuss the characteristics of early medieval India. So, when we are talking about administration and political structure, we will not just be discussing the administration and political structure of just early medieval India. No. What we will do is we will take each of the dynasty which we have mentioned before, and each and every dynasty and the administration and the kind of political setup that they have created, that will be discussed in detail. Okay. After this, we will discuss the economy, trade and urbanization, and in cultural aspect, we will discuss the growth of Brahminical religions like Vaishnavism, Shaivism, etc. Now, all of these aspects, again, when we are talking about these aspects, we will be discussing them on the basis of the dynasties that we have discussed in the beginning. So each dynasty, we will talk about each of these aspects. Okay. Then again, we have society, education. When we talk about society, we will talk about societies under the Palas, under the Hoysalas, under the Cholas, Cheras. So each and every dynasty in the society that they have created will be taught. And then we have something really important here. We have debates of state formation. So there are certain debates as to how state formation has taken place in early medieval India, right? So there are different viewpoints that we have. We have Bertenstein giving us the segmentary model. We have R.S. Sharma giving us the feudal model. So we will talk about those models, their criticism as well, and we will see how far they are even applicable or not, right? And then we move on to the next phase, where we will see Ghaznavid conquest and the account which has been left by Al-Biruni. Then we move on to Unit 4. Since we're starting with medieval India, we will again start with sources. Now, since we're starting with sources of medieval India, sources remain more or less the same. We have archaeological, literary, we will have inscriptions, numismatics, etc. But one important thing will be added here, and that is chronologies. So, chronicles will be added here. Chronicles are date-wise accounts which are kept by the court chroniclers of different kings. So that will be added. That is a very important source of information for us. Okay. Apart from this, we have daftars, farmans, bahis, akhbarat, foreign travelers, etc. So all of this will be done in detail. Now, Unit 4 is actually all about the political developments of the different dynasties which had existed in medieval India. Okay. So first of all, we start with Delhi Sultanate. Okay. Then we move on to the Mughal Empire. We will focus on the expansion and consolidation. All right. Then we move on to later Mughals and the disintegration. After this, we will talk about the Vijayanagar kings, the Bahmani kings. Then we will talk about the Marathas. Now here we will be discussing their political history, or you can say their conquest history. So we will be talking about the areas which they have conquered, the relationship that they had with each other. So here we will be talking about the political history of various dynasties which have ruled over India in medieval age. Now, Unit 5 is again all about the political history of the dynasties that we have discussed in Unit 4, right? So we will talk about administration and economy of Delhi Sultanate, Vijayanagar, Bahmani, Mughals, Marathas. Then similarly, we will talk about administrative system in Deccan, Sher Shah, Delhi Sultanate, okay? Then we will talk about industry. Again, all the dynasties mentioned in Unit 4 will be discussed in detail. Then we will talk about trade and commerce. Again, all the dynasties in Unit 4 will be discussed individually. The trade which was there within all the dynasties in Unit 4 will be discussed individually. Okay? So, yes. So, this is end of Part 1 of your syllabus discussion. Now, there are 5 more units which we have to discuss, and how they can be worked about, what can we do about them, how we can study them, what is important in them. That will be discussed in a separate lecture with you all. So I really hope that you found this lecture useful, and I really hope that you were able to understand what do you have to do with the first 5 units. If you still have any difficulties, please feel free to address them in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to take up your doubts. So this is me, Nicky Sinha, signing off. I'll see you in the next lecture. Till then, please take care.